Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? Hope you're well. Gold and silver are coming back as we knew they would because we know it's all just a game. It's the COMEX game where JP Morgan shorts and then buys. They short to get the price down and then they buy because it's a low price. Excuse me. Well, my hack's gone because I put onions on my feet. I love that one. And it's all from Dr. Barbara. My friend says, well, where do you get this stuff from? I go, oh, watch these holistic doctors who know more than the regular doctors by a mile. You got to be stupid to go to your doctor. Why would you do that? All right, gold. So as we saw it just go down, 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 it's now going up, 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 up. 10 o'clock, a little bit of a drop, not too bad. This will go back to 4,400, 4,500, 5,000, 10,000. This back to 48 and a quarter. It'll get back to 53 and then on its way to 75 to 100. People play these options as instead of buying the physical gold, they're actually like playing the options like Eddie Murphy, right? And so some of these idiots thought gold is overvalued or overbought. Gold at 4,000, that's just too high. It shouldn't be there. They don't understand it's price fixed, right? So they're buying it. They see it at 42, 4,300. They start shorting it. These are idiots. These are not people buying gold, and they're not the banks, I think. It's just other people, sort of like the idiots who buy Bitcoin. And that's what's happening. And so they thought it was overbought. So they said, "Oh, it's going to come down. It's in a bubble. I'm going to short it." But they're idiots. They don't know what they're doing. And so they are partly responsible for what happened because the banks are saying 60, 20, 20. They're saying you got to buy gold. Everybody else is buying physical. And who's left? So most of the banks are long gold, thinking it's going to go up. Gold is nowhere near close to its real price. The real price is 30, 40,000 if you just left it alone in physical like a Mantle card. That's the real price of gold. This is a COMEX paper price. This is a manipulation. This is a price fixing. This is illegal. These guys should be in jail. But these other people who are playing the game, I met one of them at something, and he he's got his chart out, and he's shorting it or he's playing it, and I just laughed at him. I go, "No, you got to buy physical gold, you moron." The guy was just one of these IT type of people who just looks at a chart. Oh, it's too high. I'm going to short it. No, it's not. So they all shorted it, and they're all going to lose their ass because as the price goes up, because now everybody is going to buy it who knows what they're doing. And again, these are China and Russia and BRICS countries. So they let the price go down to 3,900 and go, I'll buy it at 3,900. And so now it's back to 4 and it'll be 41. And by Friday, it'll be back to 42. Just a second. So that's what's happening. So it was just bullshit because they think they're playing gold as a stock. And gold is not a stock. Why do people think gold's a stock? In what world is money stock? Stock's a company. What company owns gold? I mean, it's just so stupid. But people, again, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to make stupid things. Sorry, I was just saying hi to Daria. You're going to make stupid things if you don't know what you're doing. I was just listening to some guy who they think this digital thing and Bitcoin and again, why would anybody listen to him? Who are you? You have to know who the person is. I did do a radio show. It was a podcast, but it wasn't a visual. It was a radio, which I didn't like. I want to, you can, when I'm on here, you can see me. You can look in my eyes. You can hear the way I talk. You get a feel for me because you can see my eyes. And I don't like this. This was a radio thing where it was just me talking without seeing me, which I thought was really stupid. Hopefully it'll do okay, but it's just to promote, get more people understanding gold and silver and economics and stuff like that, and a little football stuff. I'll put it on my website and my Twitter and my LinkedIn. Oh, you don't care about my LinkedIn. I don't care about my LinkedIn. Had a phone interview with a company in Australia. It was on Indeed, and it was actually a visual, so she could see me and I could see her. I have no idea. There's nobody in Australia who can do finance. Well, actually, I think there's companies in the U.S., so it's an Australian company, and it's an automotive tire or a new type of tire. Who knows? We will see. Anyway, you have to know who and what you're doing. When we bet football, why do you think I go through the trends and go through the teams? This is a Z team. So if you look at tonight, Jacksonville State plays Middle Tennessee. Well, who do you bet on? Don't know. I don't know the teams. Okay, so Jacksonville State's an over team with the 26 defense, and Middle Tennessee State is a Z team with a 30 defense. That helps me. Middle Tennessee doesn't score. So they probably got a shit quarterback. And Jacksonville State does score. And their defenses aren't great. It's problems. It's a Wednesday night. Jacksonville State's favored on the road. We don't really know Jacksonville State. We know Middle Tennessee State a little bit, but that was prior. And at least now you can form a bet. Who do I want to bet on? Well, I want to bet against the Z team. All right, that would make sense. But at least you know they're a Z team, right? And that's why I go through the grading of the teams. What's Purdue? What's Northwestern? What's Illinois? What's Ohio State? What's Oregon? You have to know that to bet the game. Just like you have to know me and my background to listen to me about economics and gold. Do I know what I'm talking about, or am I an idiot? And that's what you come to the conclusion. Now, I am pretty good at explaining at a low level so you understand, and then you can make your judgment. And then I back it up with fact. As Titus said the other day, you told me to buy gold at 1,800, and now it's at 4,000, and it's just going to keep going up. I can trust you. You've told me properly. You told me to buy it. I bought it, and it's gone up. It's doubled. So yes, you know what you're talking about. I can prove my thesis, and I think that's what you you want to do is prove the thesis. Anybody can say anything. The question is, do you listen to them? Do you believe them? Are they smart enough to say what they say? That is the point. And that's really what you're looking at. Who do I trust? I was just watching a YouTube with some moron. Let me show you. So I was listening to this guy, but you can see he's a Bitcoin guy. So he makes some comments. You don't know if you don't know who he is. Simon Dixon. I don't know who he is. I don't know if I can trust what he says, if I should listen to him. After about 5 minutes, I told him to fuck off. I said, this guy doesn't know. This is the end game. They're going to put us all in digital this and Bitcoin that and stable coin backed by he doesn't understand anything. He calls the dollar a Ponzi scheme. It's not a Ponzi scheme. The dollar is money, all right? The Ponzi scheme is they keep printing it and losing value and printing it so it has no value. It's not a Ponzi scheme at the beginning. If you didn't print it to death, it's a medium of exchange. It's not really a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme is getting money in and then giving it out and never investing, like Madoff. This is not a Ponzi scheme. The dollar is a Ponzi scheme now because it's not worth anything. However, Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme because it's not even real. Stablecoin, none of the digital coins are real, so they're all Ponzi schemes because they're trying to sell you something for they're trying to sell you nothing for something. There is no value. There isn't anything real about it. It's all electric. It's digital. How is that real? It's not. So if it's not real, how does it have a value? Well, because they're Ponzi scheming. They're saying it has a value, and if you're stupid enough to believe it, fine. Oh, I bought it at 5 cents, and now it's at 100,000. Okay, go sell it. Take your profit. I'm too stupid to take my profit. It's gonna just keep going up and up and up. And you just deal with idiots. It's really ridiculous dealing with idiots and they don't understand. So again, a Ponzi scheme is what Madoff did. He took your money in and he paid it out and then got more money in to pay it out, more money in to pay it out, but he never invested the money. Now, I'm not quite sure what's the problem. He paid it out. The problem is when you don't pay it out. I'm going to give you 50% on your money, but I don't pay you. That's the problem with the Ponzi scheme. However, if I promise you 15% and I pay you 15%, I don't know what the problem is. Yeah, I'm getting for 20 years, I got my 15% every month. What's wrong? So, but it is a Ponzi scheme. I think it's because you lie about it. You say you're going to invest it and you don't. I think that's the Ponzi. Well, how is the dollar a Ponzi scheme? Now they're lying about the value of it, but it's money. Well, it's monopoly money. It's not real money, but it is. I don't know that it's a Ponzi scheme now. It is because they're taking money and they're printing money that has no value. That would be the Ponzi scheme part of it. But in the beginning, it's not a Ponzi scheme. Now, gold can't be a Ponzi scheme because gold's gold and it's physical. And as long as you make sure it's real gold, you're fine with it. So this guy, Simon Dixon, I don't know who he is. From what he says, I don't trust a word he says. He's trying to scare you into buying Bitcoin or something. Yeah, that's a problem. So I don't know who he is, but I didn't like him. I didn't like the way he came. I'm sure this is what's happening. Bull fucking shit. You're sure. You don't know what the fuck's going on. So I can't believe a word he says. So if you happen to stumble on this guy, just ignore it. Don't go. I was watching the Miami Atlanta game. Let's talk a fixed game. That was a fixed game. Uh, Atlanta didn't even try. Kirk Cousins was missing passes by 20 yards over the guy's head. Kirk Cousins should be just let him go. Let him go work at the Kroger's because you can't work anywhere else. He's terrible. He's probably not happy that they made Penix the starter, so you can't have him on your team. He's not going to help you. He's terrible. If he plays this week, I'm betting everything again. That'll be my lock against Atlanta. Atlanta is playing New England. So if Kirk Cousins is playing, I'm going to lock New England. If it's Penix, then we'll see. But Kirk Cousins does not have the ability to be a college quarterback or a high school quarterback. I mean, he's missing guys by a mile. Then I got to take notice with the coach. 4th and 4 at your own 40, and you're going for it? No, you punt the ball. And they're letting Miami run all over them, these screen passes. Atlanta, you need a new coach and you need new coordinators. I'm sorry, the people you have in charge are not even high school. I mean, they're not even high school level. This machine, Rashid Moorhead or whatever, Rosette, the coach, terrible. The defensive coordinator is ridiculous. And the offensive coordinator, you got Penix, Bijan Robinson, and Drake London, Kyle Pitts. You got to be kidding. You can't score 10 points a game with these guys. So Atlanta definitely was fixed against Miami. They didn't even try. Cousins on at least 10 throws wasn't even close. It was like a guy's wide open. He overthrows him by 20 yards. You're an NFL quarterback. That's like a pitcher coming in and can't throw a strike, right? You're an NFL quarterback and you can't throw. You can't hit a guy 20 yards down wide open. Yeah, that was more fixed than Super Bowl III with Earl Morrall throwing 5 interceptions. Yeah, that was real too. That game was fixed. This game was fixed the other day. Miami, Atlanta. Miami's terrible. Atlanta made them look like champs. Tagovailoa all day to throw. They'd throw a ball to Waddle and nobody would tackle him and he'd go for a touchdown. And you're like, where's the defense? They didn't even try. If you bet Atlanta, you got fucked last week. And I bet Atlanta and I got fucked last week. So I thought Penix was playing because he was questionable, not out, not doubtful. So what the fuck you playing games with? Call it what it is. If the guy's injured, call him out. Don't call him out Sunday morning. Call him out. Friday, he's out. He ain't questionable. If he's not playing, he's doubtful. And then you don't bet him. So you got people to bet Atlanta thinking Penix is going to play. What the fuck are you doing? So you got to be careful with some of these, but it's just more and more widespread. The gambling is more and more fixed. I saw watching the World Series and Shotani struck out. They actually pitched to him, which I was shocked. And he strikes out on a pitch a little low. And he can't believe it. I don't like Shotani at all. He's not a winner. No, he's not a winner. He just kind of laughs at it. Like he looks and he's trying to be polite. No, there's a problem with the Japanese. They're very emotional people. And he didn't have any emotion. He's a loser. So he strikes out. And you could see he was tired pitching. Toronto should be up 3-1 in this series because in the first inning, the ump who was fixed, ball 4 comes, he calls it a strike 5 minutes after, and the guy's already jogging to first because he knows it was 3-1 and he knows he walked. And then he goes and gives them the motion like, go take your base, which gets whatchamacallit Junior, Bichette Jr. out because he's walking the second. And it was not a strike. It was a ball. It was clearly high. And the ump never gave the strike signal. So the ump's in on it. And then they get 2 hits later in the inning, and they would have scored, and it would have been 6-5 at the end of the game instead of 5-5 tie. The other problem I have is the manager for Toronto is an idiot. Why would you pitch to Shotani? All right, maybe you start pitching it. Scherzer, okay, I can trust Scherzer. And then he gets a double, and then he hits a home run. Okay, you're done for the day. You're not going to see another pitch. You either pitch him 4 balls and make him work because he's pitching the next day. So the silver lining of the 18 innings is Shotani was so tired. You cannot play a game, even though he DHs, and then have to pitch the next day. Okay, very stupid managing by the Dodgers because he was just going to walk anyway. You should have taken him out after 9. He's not going to do anything but walk. And then so he's tired. He's throwing shit. They're hitting the hell out of him. But it should have been 3-1 Toronto. Toronto's going to win the series. The Dodgers really have no pitching. The guy who pitched yesterday, the tall guy, he stinks. And the guy who pitched game 1's pitching today, he stinks. They'll hit the hell out of him. And so it's 2-2 right now. It shouldn't even be 2. It should be 3-1 Toronto at this point. Toronto has the better hitting team. They got basically 9 hitters. The Dodgers have basically 2 hitters. Shotani and then the other guy, Freddie Freeman. That's it. Mookie Betts hitting, 120? The rest of their lineup, Max Muncy, the other guys are terrible. I don't even know what they're doing on the team. They're not major leaguers. So Toronto's got the better hitting. They basically got the better pitching. I'm not sure how good the one Japanese pitcher is on the Dodgers who pitched game 2. They look like average pitches, and most of the guys were not swinging at his pitches. The pitch would go right down the middle. They'd take it, and then they look at a what do you call it, slider down and out, and they swing at it, and you're like, what are you doing? Why don't you swing at the ball right down the middle? And the fact that a pitcher has 5 or 6 pitches doesn't make him a good pitcher, because I don't believe that he's got 5 or 6 good pitches. I don't think it's hard for a pitcher to learn how to pitch 5 pitches. I can pitch 4 and girls fast pitch. I got a rise ball, I got a drop ball, I got a screw ball, I got a changeup, and I got a fastball. I got 5 pitches. Am I going to go use them in a game? Probably not, but I could. But it doesn't mean I got 5 pitches. I mean, I know how to throw 5 pitches, but that doesn't mean anything. And so I don't, just because he does, I don't buy it at all. It's not like the guy won all his games and you couldn't hit him. I didn't see that at all. Hopefully George Springer comes back. I was happy that Bichette played. He should have played. This is a World Series. You get hurt later. Get hurt next week. And so I thought, shit, they're not going to have hitting. Springer's not going to play. And Bichette's not going to play. But I'll tell you, as soon as whatchamacallit hit the 2-run homer in the first inning or second inning, so it was the first inning, I think. No, it was maybe second. But when Guerrero Jr. hit the 2-run homer, that was it. The game was over. I knew the game was over because you hit it off the Shotani, and you could see he was struggling. He was tired and didn't have it. I just don't know. Does he normally pitch 150 pitches, or is he normally on the same 95 pitch count? And he's done now because he pitched. That was game 4. He's done. You got game 5, you got game 6 and game 7. You got 3 other pitchers. So I don't know. I don't like what Shotani's doing. I think he should just be a hitter. I don't even know that. I think he should be a pitcher. The problem of him being a hitter is I can walk him every time. I can take, and that's what should be happening, is take the bat out of his hands. I said to my friend, why did Toronto pitch to him and allow him to hit 2 home runs and 2 doubles, and then finally figure out we need to intentionally walk him? Me managing, he gets intentionally walked every time up. I don't give a fuck. Or I do the intentional walk, where I give him 4 pitches above his head, and I aim at his head all 4 pitches and walk him. Okay, you're not getting a hit off of me. You're not going to see a strike, and you're going to see 4 balls at your head. That's real. I saw Sandy Koufax there. That's what Sandy Koufax would do, and that's how you need to pitch. Bob Gibson would have nailed him already. You hit 2 home runs off of me. Yeah, you're getting hit. That's baseball, not this bullshit. So Tony's never beating me. So I don't know if I want him hitting every day, playing every day. It's going to affect his pitching like it did yesterday. But you're not going to get a hit. You're not getting pitched to. They did it to Barry Bonds. You're not getting pitched to. Sorry. If you don't like it, go play basketball. You can cheat there. So that's my point with him. But I thought, when they made that strike call on him, that was a little low. I said, that's it. The Toronto's winning today. The umps, they're just terrible. So many bad calls. Pitch 3 inches high, strike. The pitch right down the middle is a ball. It's like, okay, can we get real umpires that are honest, or are they all corrupt, just like the government, I guess? That's what we're dealing with. All right, so don't listen to this guy, Simon Dixon. Where's he getting his information? Who is he? Why should we listen to him? Why should we believe a word he says? And that's what I do with Rickards and Peter Schiff and all the Andy Scheckman. You can't believe a word they say because they're idiots. Inflation is a rising prices. Well, right there, you don't know what you're talking about. You're wrong. Inflation is not prices. It's the dollar it's the value of the dollar going, and it's worthless. That's exactly what it is. And if you don't know that, why should I listen to anything else out of your face? All right, let's go do our pride and joy, our football. Let's start with college. Where are we? I'm going to quickly go through all the lines. I know I've been going through the major games, but let's do all the lines. Let's look at the news. Let's see if there's some injury news. NCAA delays implementation of new betting rule. What the fuck is this? So what came out yesterday? After the SEC and others pushed back. NCAA athletes won't be able to bet on professional sports starting on Saturday. The NCAA said Tuesday it would delay the implementation of its new sports betting policy. Why is the NCAA even involved in sports betting? Which would allow athletes to bet on professional sports. Okay, I've read enough. What the fuck is wrong? Why would you allow football players to bet on professional sports? What is wrong with that picture? So when they lose, then so this is coming from the mafia. When they lose, we'll get them, and then we'll have them fix games in college. That's the end game of this, right? I love the new word end game. Yeah, that's what's happening. So if the NCAA is going to allow them to bet, it's a nightmare. Every game will be fixed because they'll lose, and then they will start shaving points. Okay, you can win by 6, but not 7. You'll see bad passes. You'll see bad games. Everything will be fixed in college. Texas Arch Manning entered concussion protocol following win. I didn't think they played by those same rules. Brian Kelly got fired from LSU. Bobby, you going to be the new coach for LSU? I think Bobby could do it. The question isn't that they fired Brian Kelly, but why they hired Brian Kelly. Okay, enough with the Brian Kelly. Are we getting injuries? All right. Well, I don't see any injury news. We'll have to go. There's several teams that were looking on the injuries. Arizona State, to name one, and others. All right. So we had a game yesterday. We had two games on a Tuesday, Conference USA. Kennesaw State -10. They were two under teams, and they win 33-20. So had you bet it under, you would have won. It was a 53, and the total was 50. So you would have won with the under. They were both under teams. James Madison 52-20. Good old James Madison. They're a good team. You would have bet the over. Texas State's an over team, but they only scored 20 here. But James Madison was the A team with the 15 defense. So they held Texas State down. That's why I didn't play Texas State. I'm playing a 15 defense. That's where they're going to get hurt. So that's where you avoid that. But you could have played them over because Texas State, with no defense, does score. It was a 58 down to 52. So I didn't play either game. But James Madison wins 52-20. So the A team beats the over team because of the defense. They hold Texas State to 20 points. But because Texas State has a 31 defense, James Madison scores a lot because they are an A team, which means they have a good offense. All right, so that's your first two. Today, Jacksonville State and Middle Tennessee. Jacksonville State's down to 4.5. This was 6. And 54.5. That remained. Jacksonville State's an over team. Middle Tennessee's a Z team with a 30. It means they score about 15 points. They give up 30. Jacksonville State must score over 30 to be an over team with the 26 defense. So they're going to score on Middle Tennessee, but Middle Tennessee, being a Z team, probably won't score much, even though Jacksonville State has it. So that would be a good game to play, would be the over team playing the Z team. Now, that's not I'm saying I'm playing this game. It's to say in the thesis, that's what you want to do. Those are the type of games you want, is take it the over team against the Z team. I took it last week with North Texas over Charlotte, and they won. They needed a good fourth quarter, but they came through and won 54-20. And that's exactly what we look for. So this could be that, but we don't know shit about Jacksonville State. So we'll have to see. Florida International, Missouri State 3.5, 50.5. They're both W teams, both with 30 defenses. So you got kind of weak offenses against very weak defenses. In this situation, it probably goes over. I notice when teams have very weak defenses, the offenses all of a sudden can move. I mean, they're not that bad, but if the defense sucks, like the Atlanta-Miami game I talked about, where Atlanta's defense sucked, and Kirk Cousins was, obviously it was a fixed game. He threw the ball nowhere near the receivers. It was totally fixed. There was an interception by Atlanta. It gets tipped. The ball is tipped up. The guy has it, and the other guy knocks it out of his hands. I've never seen anything so obvious in my life. So that's what you have today. Again, Jacksonville State traveling on a Wednesday goes to Middleton. The problem is it's a Wednesday. It's not a normal day for these guys. It is Conference USA. They're not really good teams. Jacksonville State's 4-3, Middle Tennessee 1-6, and Florida International 3-4, Missouri State 4-3. All right, let's go. So we're going to go much quicker. Tulane 4.5, 55.5, up from 3. The Sharps betting on Tulane. UTSA is 3-4. They're an over team with a 30 defense. Marshall, Coastal Carolina. Marshall's up to 5.5 from 4. 53.5, 54. Marshall, an over team, 31 defense. Coastal Carolina, a W team, 31 defense. Friday, Memphis and Rice. Memphis 14, 49.5. Syracuse 2.5, up from 1.5. I wonder why. 45.5. Syracuse quarterback's terrible. North Carolina struggles. The Belichick and his girlfriend. Sam Houston, L-Tech. L-Tech 16.5, 49.5. Sam Houston's a Z team with the 39 defense. L-Tech's an under with an 18. Here you got the reverse. You got an under playing a Z. They're laying 16. They might not score a lot because they're an under team. Then we get to Saturday. We got Texas 2.5, 44.5 to Vandy. We got Daggio as a dog. Very tempting. We got Houston 13.5, 49 to West Virginia. Houston is a B team, good coach, 18 defense. They're actually 6-1 or 7-1, but I don't know. They're not that strong of a team. And West Virginia is Z team with the 30 defense, a new quarterback. Rich Rodriguez is terrible. How he got another job after what he did at Michigan is beyond me. Miami, 12.5, 51.5. Why does this guy always call me during class? I have a friend, Scott, not Scott in Vegas, Scott in Florida, and I'll be going into the gym. I'll be sitting down for dinner. I'll be cooking, and he calls. Just crazy. Where am I? Miami and SMU. Miami, 12.5, up from 10. And 51.5. They're both A teams. Miami at 14, SMU at 21. Miami did lose to Louisville, surprisingly, at home on a Friday. UCF and Baylor. Baylor 4.5, 59.5. That's your free play. Your free play is going over in the game because it's fucking Baylor. Baylor, strong offense, great quarterback, Robertson, and they give up 32. They're the perfect over team because they are explosive with a great quarterback and they can run, but their defense is terrible. So UCF here should be able to go up and down the field and score their 20 to 30, and Baylor puts up 30 to 40, and there you go. UCF should definitely get in the 30s because Baylor's defense is bad, but you can't stop Baylor. UCF's not going to stop them, especially at home. So go over free pick. Buffalo, Bowling Green. Where are we? We've got Bowling Green 1.5, 43.5. Buffalo, an under team, 21 defense. Bowling Green, an E team with a 25. The game of the day, well, not really. We have better games, is Ohio State 20.5, 44. Penn State, new coach, new quarterback. Quarterback broke his ankle. They got runners, can't really run. They got receivers, can't really catch. They have a defense, they can't really play defense. Ohio State just kills everybody. You can't score on them. Ohio State laying 21 at home. Who's the new coach? Who's the new quarterback? We have no idea. They did go to Iowa and play close against Iowa. They were able to score a little bit on them, but this is going to be ugly fast. They're not going to. They're going to get shut out. If you can bet Penn State getting shut out, that would be the best bet you can do here. They're not going to score. Rutgers goes to Illinois. Illinois 12.5, 62.5. Both are over teams, 30 defenses. UAB and UConn. UConn 11.5, 64.5. UAB is an over team with a 38 defense. UConn, a pretty explosive team, good quarterback, a B team with a 24. They're going to score a lot because they got a pretty good quarterback. UAB is an over team. They'll probably score. This probably goes over. We got to check UAB. Navy and North Texas. Uh, North Texas 6.5, 65.5. North Texas, as we saw, explosive team. The Navy is a very good team, an A team. 23 defense. North Texas, an over team, even though it has a 25 defense. This is going to be a very good game. Navy is a very good. Army is not that strong this year, or the Air Force, but Navy's a pretty good team. Good quarterback. The defense, they're going to North Texas. I'd like North Texas as the dog, then I would play it. Hard to play Navy as the dog, but maybe not. They are the A team, and you like playing A teams as dogs. Duke and Clemson. Clemson 3.5, 55.5. Duke, very good quarterback, very explosive team, over team, and Clemson a B team, but can't beat anybody. Here's Army and Air Force. This is the Armed Forces Week. Air Force 1.5, 48.5. Army, I don't like their quarterback. They don't really run like they were running last year. Quarterback, it makes a difference for Army. He's a good runner and he can pass. The guy they have is a bad runner. He can't read. He doesn't run right. Air Force, an over team with a terrible defense, which is unusual for Air Force. They don't normally have a bad defense. They normally have like a 15-20 defense. So I don't know what happened here. Again, maybe the defensive coordinator went somewhere else and they got a new guy who sucks. And so this is not really, we're in the time now where it's not just the coach going, it's the coordinators. So it's not Brian Kelly at LSU. It's who did he hire as his coordinators? He obviously hired some bad coordinators and he's paying the price for it. But I'm shocked that LSU's this bad with Brian Kelly. He's a good coach. He choked at Notre Dame, but to lose at LSU, that's ridiculous. Yeah, there's something wrong with him. And I know the players don't like playing for Brian Kelly. At least it appears that way. He yells at them. He treats them like children. It's like, fuck off. Arizona State, Iowa State. Seems like a good game. We got Iowa State 7.5 up from 5.5. Somebody asked me about that. So we have to look at, and it's down to 48.5. This tells me that the Arizona State quarterback is out for the line to go up and the line to go down. Hello.
Hey.
What's up?
You want to come now?
I'm coming tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow? Damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I got my hair cut, and I'm in class right now. And they're coming for my heater filters or whatever. So
What about after class?
I got to get my hair cut at 3:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
tomorrow, I thought.
Yeah, I forgot though.
That's okay. All right.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye. My friend Alyssa. Can I come now? The only problem with her is she forgets. We talked. I said, I'm busy today, Thursday. So, of course, she's like, can you come now? No. Translation, she needs a ride. And she knows I'll get her if she needs a ride, but not when I'm teaching and not when I got a haircut. And I'll go to the pool and stuff like that. Anyway, so this tells me that Arizona State's quarterback's probably out, Levitt, because the line's moving, but the total's going down. So let's see if we got news. If you go into the game, sometimes they'll tell you. Here's Arizona State quarterback Sam Levitt. There you go, to miss Iowa State game with injury. So I know we had somebody, one of our students, go, hey, I like Arizona State as a dog. And I said, hold on. So now we know Levitt's out. So now we've got a good Iowa State team against a backup Arizona State guy. Now, there's two ways to bet this. You don't just throw the game out. my friend in Vegas just throws the game out. I says, well, wait a minute. You're missing the opportunity. This now turns into Arizona State with no quarterback and Iowa State with Rocco Brack. Arizona State with the 24 defense, but now they turn into a W team. Like they're not going to score. Pretty decent defense, or they're an under team, and Iowa State's a B team with a 21. So now this makes Iowa State a play because Leavitt's a very good quarterback. He's like the engine. He's the straw that stirs the drink, much like Scatterboo is at the Giants. So now it becomes maybe an underplay or an Arizona or an Iowa State play. Because Arizona State without the quarterback isn't going to do much. Now, maybe the game plan is, well, we're going to run and do a lot of screens, which will eat the clock, which makes it an under game. And that's why, see, as soon as you saw the line go from 5-7, but then the total go down, I knew the quarterback was out. So you got to read that, right? East Carolina and Temple. Okay, it's up here. East Car is 5.5, 58.5. And we've got East Car is actually an A team with the 17 defense. Temple's a very good team. They got a very good quarterback, Simon. He's got like 20 touchdowns and 0 picks. He's an over. It's an over team with the 26. So again, you have A against over, and as we just saw yesterday, James Madison A against over, A1 52-20. Now, it doesn't work every time, and it's not suggested that it's going to work every time, but you be careful with the A against the over. Because you know the over has no defense, but the A has an offense. You know the over has a good offense, but you're going into a good defense. So generally, you would play A versus the over, which means you would play East Car over Temple. You could play the over on it because Temple's going to score, and so will East Car. Well, you think Temple will score on East Car. All right, New Mexico against Vegas. We've got Vegas 4, 61.5, down from 5.5, but the total remained. Both teams are over teams. New Mexico, I like the coach from Wisconsin, and Vegas has the old Mississippi State coach. I can't think of his name right now. But so you got pretty much an over game, total 62. Louisville, VTech. Louisville is 10, 53.5, basically stayed. Louisville, the A team, 21 defense, goes against the W team, VTech, a W, and they give up 29. So Louisville shouldn't have any problem scoring. Virginia Tech probably won't score at all here. That's how you read the grades. I'm not saying that's a pick and that's a bet. I'm saying that's how you read the grades. You have to understand why you're making the bet, right? Western Kentucky, 8.5, 52.5 to New Mexico State. This is down from 9.5 and 52.5, down from 54. We'll call it 53. New Mexico State's an under team. Western Kentucky's a B team. They got a pretty good quarterback. Both have 24 defenses. So it's just that New Mexico State's offense is bad, so I call them an under. Western Kentucky's offense is good, so I call them a B. They probably got like a 28, 29 defense, so that's where the grade came from. Delaware plays Liberty. We've got Liberty 3.5, 51.5. Liberty, pretty good team, 21 defense. Under Delaware, strong over team with the 28, good offense. Fresno State and Boise State. Boise 17-51. Boise is a B team. No, I think they're an over. Well, maybe a B. I can't read it. To 23 defense. I know they score a lot. And then Fresno is an E team with the 23. Fresno quarterback's not good. They ran the ball. They've been able to run it a little bit, but I don't think they'll do much against Boise. Old D and Lou Monroe, we have Old D, it's up to 17. This was 14. Wow, this line jumped. Old D, 1753. So the total state, so it's no injuries, just betting on Old D. Old D's an over team with the 25 defense. Lou Monroe is a Z team with the 33. We bet against Lou Monroe last week with Southern Miss, and we won. They won by 25. We're laying 10 or something. Old D's been struggling. They haven't been playing well, not like James Madison. Georgia, Florida used to be the great game. Now it's nothing. Georgia 7.5, 50. Georgia an A team still with a 19 defense. Florida an under team with the 20. Their quarterback's terrible. The LSU game, he threw 6-7 interceptions. But it's a big rivalry game, played at Jacksonville, so it's a neutral field. Who knows? It should be. It's usually a good game. Hey, Prophet. So the Jays are back in it. Let's hope their bats stay hot. Oh, they're going to win the series. There's no question. That's an easy one. They got more hitting. LA's got no hitting. If you just walk Ichio and then you don't pitch too much to the Wally Joyner, then you're fine. I can't think of his name, so I'm calling him Wally, the lefty. He's the only hitter they got. So why they keep pitching to him, I have no idea. And I would just walk Ichiro. I mean, I wouldn't never pick to Ohtani. You got to be – why? Mookie Betts can't hit. And then you avoid Wally Joyner, and then they got no hitting. There's no hitting at all on the Dodger team, and there's very little pitching. There's no bullpen. It's just all it's stop pitching to Shotani. What, are you fucking idiots? Did you see Barry Bonds get pitches? No, they walked him every time up. That's what they should be doing here, especially while he's hot. Although they did strike him out yesterday, I would intentionally walk him every time. All right, Pitt and Stanford. Pitt 14.5, 51. The game's at Stanford, but it's a 3:30 game. It's actually a better advantage for Pitt because it's noon for Stanford. It's 3:30 for Pitt. Pitt's an over team with a 22 defense. I don't know if their quarterback's playing. Their quarterback, I think, got hurt. He threw one pass yesterday. The backup comes in, throws for 450 yards. So I don't mind the backup. He's better than the starter, but we don't have any. We don't have news on it. I don't know. I'm not seeing an injury like I saw in the other. Like it told me Arizona State's quarterback is out. I guess there's just no news on Pitt and Stanford. But with this spread, it doesn't matter. Both quarterbacks are good. Stanford, although you got to be careful, they are flying across country, and Stanford beat Florida State somehow. I'd say goodbye to the Florida State coach also. Michigan State, Minnesota. Minnesota 3, 44.5. Michigan State, their quarterback, just terrible. Their defense is a 32. They're kind of an over team. Minnesota, very strong defense, a 21 defense, and an under team. They got a good quarterback. They run, but they beat you with their defense. Lou Lafayette, South Alabama. Lou Lafayette, South Alabama is 4.5, 54. Lou Lafayette and South Alabama. So they're both E's. They're both 30 defenses. So there should be points in the game. We will see. But it's a low total of 54. So neither team's really scoring like they used. Lou Lafayette, their quarterback, got hurt in the first week. Howard, he's out. South Alabama should have a better score with Major Applewhite as their coach, but they're not doing anything. Notre Dame, 28.5, 56.5. To Boston College. Boston College is an over team with the 34. Notre Dame, we know, is an 18. Their defense is down to 21. A&M with the running quarterback beat them. Miami, just with the strong team, beat them. Then they held Arkansas to nothing. They held Boise to nothing. USC did put up 24 on them. You could throw on them. BC has the quarterback's not bad, but he's young, and they can score. They are an over team, but I don't see BC lighting up Notre Dame. It is in BC. It's a bit high to take Notre Dame, I think. The total of 57. I don't know what to do here because Notre Dame's defense pretty strong. Maybe it's actually an under. I don't think BC is going to do much. Notre Dame, they're not as strong on the road as they are at home, obviously. Jesus can't travel from South Bend to Boston College. Indiana, Maryland. Indiana, just incredible. Lane, 21, 50.5. They're an A team with a 10 defense. Maryland's a B team with a 17 defense. At home, they lost to Nebraska 34-31, and then they lost to Washington 28-24. So they can score. They're not really they might be a 17 defense, but in games with better teams, they're not. A 60-point game with Nebraska. So you think Maryland's an over team, but you see the 17. But when they play Nebraska and Washington, they are more of a 50-point team. Indiana's just going to score. They run it down your throat. They make good passes. They have good routes. Very tough team to play, and their defense is just as strong, and they get turnovers. So I don't know. Maryland, they do have a good quarterback. I did notice that. I was watching the Nebraska-Maryland game to watch for Nebraska, and then I see this Maryland quarterback, Washington, and he's pretty nimble, and then he could throw pretty good. He's got a good arm, and he's actually a quarterback, not a running back. And so I think he'll have some points for them. So it's good. It's a tough place. Indy on the road, they'll win, but Maryland maybe score. It's like can Maryland score 10 points in the game? It's crazy. Texas Tech, K-State. Let's see if Texas Tech's quarterback is back. 7-52. That hasn't moved. Texas Tech quarterback Morton on his Kansas State running back ruled out versus Tech. Will he redshirt? Kansas State, Dylan Edwards to remain sidelined. But nobody's talking about Morton, the Texas Tech quarterback. So the running back is out for Kansas State. But it doesn't talk about the Texas Tech quarterback. Interesting. So Texas 7-52. An A team, but what you don't realize is they got a 12 defense. K-State's an over team with a 25. They did pound Kansas last week. They beat them pretty good. We got our over. That's all we cared about. That's the beauty when you play the overs and the unders. You don't care who wins. You don't care if it's an upset. All you care about is did they score over 50 points, which they got a 60-something. So we were happy with that. Tech -7. So till we get more information on Morton, but their backup was pretty good. Their defense is good, and they got a good running. I'd be shocked if they lost this game, but you never know. That's why they call it gambling, because you never know. All right. Virginia and Cal. Virginia 4.5, 53.5. Virginia B team 22 defense. Cal an even team 24. Again, Virginia, it's a 3:45 game, has to fly to California. Again, more bullshit. It's not like the ACC, which is Atlantic Coast Conference. Why the fuck are you playing in California and Stanford? Oak State and Kansas. Kansas, a big favorite here, if I can find them. Kansas, 24-57. Kansas, an over team with the 25 defense. Oak State's a Z team with the 39. Oak State's terrible. The coach is fired. The quarterback was a freshman. They replaced him. The other guy's terrible. Kansas is a pretty good team. They got a good quarterback in Daniels, and they're an over with the 25. So they should light up Oak State. I wouldn't count on Oak State to score much for you. Here's 24. Pretty reasonable there. Old Mississippi State and Arkansas. Arkansas, 4.5, 67. Mississippi State, Blake Shapen, quarterback from Baylor, pretty good. They're a B team with the 23 defense. Arkansas is an over team with the 32. We saw them get killed by Notre Dame. We saw them play an 80-point game with A&M. Central Michigan, Western Michigan. Western is 4.5, 40.5. This was 7, down to 4.5. Those early lines are all over the place. Too bad we can't get Ohio State minus 4.5 anymore. Western 4.5 and 40. Central's an E team, 24 defense. Western's an under team, 18 defense. These rivalry games probably be close. Wyoming, San Diego State. San Diego State is 10.5, 42.5. Wyoming an under team, 19 defense. San Diego State an A team with a 10 defense. San Diego State's a really good team this year. They're A team, 10 defense. Now again, these are overall totals. So let's say the State's got a 10 defense. That includes if they played high school teams or Z team. Well, Z team, I don't care. That's just part of it. But a high school team I got to throw out. But I think they've been playing pretty well. South Car and Old Miss. Old Miss, 12.5, 54.5. Now this, we're more looking at, hey, they just beat Oklahoma. They played Georgia well. They're an over team with the 23. South Carolina is an under team with the 21. Sellers has not done anything this year. Old Miss, an over team, 23. And a 54 total. So 12.5, 54. Two teams in the 20s defensively. Old Miss just lit up Oklahoma. So this should be a pretty good game. Purdue goes to Michigan. Now, Purdue's got the new coach, the new quarterback. He's been okay. They haven't really beaten anybody, but they do tend to play better. But this game's at Michigan. Michigan 21-50. Purdue, E team with the 27 defense. Michigan, a B team with the 17. Michigan just runs the ball, and their defense is pretty good. I don't know. They're confusing to me. Arizona and Colorado. Arizona 4.5, 52. Colorado's crying because they got killed by Utah last week, and their backup quarterback. Arizona, a B team with the 20 defense. Colorado, an E with the 27. So basically, Colorado's problem is they have a weak defense. Arizona, Fajitas, the quarterback's really good. Oklahoma, Tennessee, game of the day. This is the game of the day. It's in Tennessee. Tennessee's 356.5. Oklahoma B team with the 12 defense. It was a 9 defense, so they played Mississippi, and Mississippi lit them up. Tennessee's an over team with the 30 defense. So I think you're going to see points in this game at Tennessee on a Saturday night. They're going to light up Oklahoma. Oklahoma, decent quarterback. scored on Ole Miss. I think they can score a little bit. Mateer is not a great quarterback. People thought he was a great quarterback. He's not. Joey Aguilar is. So hard to. I would prefer Tennessee as the dog, although Oklahoma might be a live dog in this one too. It's a hard pick. It could go anyway. Washington State, Oregon State. Washington State's favored 3.5, 48.5. They're the under team, 24 defense. Oregon State's a Z team with the 32 defense. USC and Nebraska. USC is 6.5, 59. They're the over team, but really they're kind of a strong B team, 23 defense. But they're going to score a lot. And Nebraska's a B team with the 19 defense. And as I mentioned, against Maryland, they lit them up pretty good too. So they played Maryland 34-31 at Maryland. USC. Now USC gets a break. It's a 7:30 game, not a noon game where they got to be playing at 9 a.m. It's much easier for USC to play a 4:30 game. That's much more in their wheelhouse. So they're laying 6.58. Should be a good game. Nebraska, should be fine here. They played Michigan pretty good. Georgia Tech, NC State. Georgia Tech 5.5 and 57.5. Georgia Tech, the A team. Haynes King, 20 defense, and NC State's an even team with a 30 defense. Kentucky plays Auburn. Let's see, where's that? We've got Auburn 10.5, 45.5. Kentucky's a W team with a 30 defense. They're not very strong defensively, and they're never strong offensively. Auburn's kind of a good defensive team, 18, and they did score a lot last week against Arkansas. So they can score. They're at home. This Auburn should be okay here. Wake plays Florida State. What a disappointment, Florida State. Say the coach has got to be gone. Florida State 9.5, 50.5. Up from 7.5. I don't know why. And the total stayed. Wake's a good team, a B team, 18 defense. Florida State is an over team with the 22. However, they lost to fucking Stanford. I mean, they're pretty bad. The quarterback, I figured out what's wrong with Florida State. Their quarterback sucks. He's a good runner, but he's not a thrower. It's like C.J. Stroud. What are you going to do with him? If he can't run, he's useless. Arkansas State and Troy. We got Troy 7.53. 7.53. I had 63. Wow. It's a big miss. They're both E teams, 28 defenses. Cincinnati and Utah. What's this team doing up here? Utah, 9.5, 56.5. Why did this jump? Oh, I would assume Dampier is playing. So Dampier was out last week, and the freshman came in and ran all over whoever. They played Colorado. But this is a big game. Will Dampier start? Cincinnati's a very good team. Cincinnati versus Utah game. Odd surge is money. Well, Dampier's better, so I'm assuming Dampier's playing if the spread went to 9.5. All right. Dampier is one of these really good running quarterbacks, but he can throw also. He's a very good, pays the rear combination of runner and thrower, unlike Lamar, unlike C.J. Stroud, unlike most of these NFL quarterbacks. Hawaii and Richardson. Hawaii, San Jose State is our last game, and it's San Jose State 358, up from 56. People betting the total on this game. Hawaii an even team 23, San Jose State an even team 29. And that be your college. It takes a while. That's why I went a little quicker. Your free play is the Baylor UCF over, as I play Baylor over every week, and I cash every week. So hopefully this is another cash week with Baylor. And to the NFL. Now I got the grades in. What I'm missing is the quarterbacks for next week. Let's look at news. Today's the 20th. Today is what, Wednesday, right? Yeah, today's Wednesday. And let's see what I think the injuries come out tonight. See, here's where the Lions have a problem. They just signed Hutchinson to a 4-year, $180 million deal. Well, that's another $45 million deal. You can't sign Golf, the running back, the receiver, these other guys. It's not unlimited money. There's a salary cap. So you then have no money for the backups. I think you signed your right tackle. So you're going to have a bad defense. The rest of your defensive line is going to suck. Your linebackers are going to suck. Your secondary, you can't get good players at all these positions. So they're going to be bad for years after this. They think it's good to sign these guys, but it's not, because you can't afford it. NFL news injury update. Lamar confirms he was the one who asked Ravens to remove him. Let's see. So we don't care. Cam Scadaboo out 4 to 6 months. He's not coming back. Dislocated ankle. Let's go. So Lamar sounds like he is playing Thursday. So we got Lamar against Tua. Now they knew, because the line, I think, still 7.5. We'll get to that in a minute. Although, how bad will he be? Scadaboo's out. Obviously, we knew that. Okay, come on. Can we get to the injuries, please? Bengals quarterback Joe Flacco's status is up in the air for week 9 to AC joint sprain. He hurt his shoulder. So Flacco, we don't know. This is 52 minutes ago. Flacco's on, what's he on now? He's on Cincinnati. Like, which team is Joe Flacco on? Baltimore? No. Cleveland? No, not anymore. Cincinnati, yes. Where's Cincinnati? Cincinnati's at home to the Bears. So it's one thing if he's there, they'll score. Without him, Browning, although Browning started to play decently at the end of the Lion game, but we'll see. But against the Bears, Cincinnati, now they changed. They're not an over team. With Browning, they're more of a W team. No offense, no defense. With obviously Burrow and or Flacco, they're an over team. They score a lot and they have no defense. So again, we don't know the quarterback. It's up in the air, which doesn't help us. Let's see. Okay, so where's all the injuries, fellas? I'm looking in there. I'm in the injury one. I'm not getting. Boy, what a bunch of crap news. All right, we'll probably know more tomorrow. Giants held group tryout on Tuesday that wide receiver somebody participated in, whoever that is. I don't know. Who cares? All right. Giants are in big trouble. Now Lamar's 100% healthy, so Sunday he wasn't. All right, so damn, I just saw news on Jalen Daniels. Just a second, and we'll get to our lines. Commanders Dan Quinn says quarterback Jalen Daniels is expected to practice this week. So he's a gamer, Jalen Daniels. I don't think he'll sit out. Scadaboo was the heart and soul of the Giants. Yep. And he was at Arizona State. All right, let's first take a look at the standings. This tells us really who needs to win, and that's what we want, backs against the wall. New England 6-2, Buffalo 5-2. I'm not going to talk about the shit teams. Pitt 4-3, Cincinnati 3-5, Baltimore 2-5. So this is a must win for Baltimore. Indy 7-1, nothing else. Denver 6-2, San Diego and Kansas City 5-3. So it's a big game for both Buffalo and Kansas City. The NFC, Philly 6-2 and nothing. Green Bay 5-1, Detroit 5-2, and the Bears 4-3. Surprisingly, because they played a terrible schedule. Tampa 6-2. Carolina, I don't know what they're doing at 4-4. Again, a very bad schedule. And Seattle 5-2, the Rams 5-2, and the Niners 5-3. So you've got to read between the lines on some of this. The Carolina have not played anybody. They played the bad schedule, where Seattle and the Rams and the Niners play each other, and their 5-2 means a lot more. Tampa 6-2, Green Bay 5-1, but here's Detroit 5-2. So it keeps Detroit having to play, and that's your free pick. Detroit 8.5 down to 2.5 against Minnesota with JJ McCarthy playing. This is a joke. He had a high ankle sprain. Yeah, they should have broke his ankle. All right, Baltimore still 7.5, 50.5. This is amazing considering Lamar is going to play. So you had Lamar playing the whole time because the line didn't move. So in other words, it's not like, so if Lamar is out, this line goes down to 2.5, which means they knew Lamar was playing because they made the line 7.5, or they're under anticipation of 90% he's going to play. Again, Baltimore an over team with Lamar, a 30 defense. Miami's the W team, 27 defense. I wouldn't look at the Atlanta game and say, oh, Miami's figured it out. 7.5, 50.5. Baltimore 9-2 is a road favorite. Play against Miami this year 7-1, and play against Baltimore is also 9-2. So they play close games on the road. They win. They're 9-2 if you play them, 9-2 against. But Miami is 7-1. If you play against them, you win 7 out of 8. Denver and Houston. Denver's a B team with a 19 defense. Houston's a B team with a 15 defense. This is strong defense here. Bo Nix against Stroud. The sign, Houston 1.5, 39.5 hasn't moved. To be deems. Denver 24-2 in a teaser with Bo Nix, 8-0 this year. Houston 23-3 in a teaser with CJ Stroud, 7-0 this year. So you have an absolute teaser game. You can probably go either way and tease it, and it looks like they're both 90% against the number. You really would prefer them in other games, not where they're playing each other, because I can only make one bet here. But Houston 1.5, then they're both B teams, both strong defenses. Maybe you go under, maybe you tease the dog, player's preference. Indy and Pitt. Indy 350.5. Jones against Rodgers. Indy 21-4 includes last year, but that doesn't include Daniel Jones. But with Daniel Jones, they're 8-0. Play against Pitt as a road dog is 6-1. So Pitt is not a good road dog. With Daniel Jones, Indy's 8-0. If you include last year, which you probably shouldn't, 21-4, because you have a new coach and a new quarterback. But even so, they're 21-4 their last 25, but 8-0 this year. You have Indy, the 18 with the 19 defense, Pitt an over with the 25. So Pitt, really, where's the defense? Aaron Rodgers is throwing. Indy, very strong team, 19 defense, but I don't know that they have that kind of defense. They've been, when you play Tennessee, your defense is going to look good. So this is almost like college when they play the high school team. It's like playing Tennessee or New Orleans or one of those shit teams. But I do have Indy as an A team. Pitt, just their defense, I don't know where it is. Indy should score. Pitt being a home dog doesn't mean anything. They're not a good home dog. And they're home dog to Baltimore and Cincinnati. If they get a Buffalo or a Kansas City, they're home dog. They're playing home dog against good teams. Now, how good is Indy? Are they really this good? This will be a really good assumption on them. They're laying 3 at Pitt. Now, they go into Pitt and win 42-3. They're the man. They went to LA and lost to Stafford, so a good quarterback can beat them. Let's go into that game, and that's going to give us flavor. I think it was 27-20. That's going to tell you what's going to happen here as far as points. They lost to the Rams 27-20. Now, the Rams have a very good defense in Stafford. That was a 47. The total on this game's 50. Pitt with Aaron Rodgers will score, but their defense isn't going to do anything. Indy is going to score. Taylor and that will score. I'm not quite sure. I'm not buying Indy's defense. Indy gave up 27 to Arizona, 24 to San Diego, 27 to the Rams, 6 to the Raiders, 14 to Tennessee. So against decent teams, they're giving up mid-20s. All right, so that's the real show there. That's what's really going on. All right, the Niners go to the Giants. The Niners 2.5, 48.5. The Niners are an under team with a 21 defense. I think Purdy's going to start, but I'm not sure. Otherwise, you got Jones, and I don't really think there's much of a difference there. And the Giants are an E team with the 27 defense, and Jackson Dart. Scatterboo's out, as we've noted. That's going to hurt them. Here's where you probably want Russell Wilson as a home dog. I don't know you can trust Dart. I don't trust Dart. He's not that good. He wants to run. I don't know. The Rams laying 3. I don't know here. The Rams, the Niners. I'm losing it. The Niners laying 3. I'm thinking of 5 things at the same time. So the Niners laying 3. Are they going to go to New York and win? I don't know. It's probably a total bet. You do have Kittle back. You got McCaffrey, Jones or Purdy. defense is pretty beaten up. And the Giants don't really scare you with Dart. Scadaboo scared you, but he's out. So I don't know. They're gonna have a defensive plan for Dart. It's good to see Salah back on the Niners. That'll teach you for leaving. You should have signed you should have done what McCall did at Kansas City, and he signed a 5-year contract to be the defensive coordinator. That's what this guy should have done. Salah should have signed 5 years with the Niners instead of fucking around with the Jets. So we'll see. You can't. This is. I don't know. I don't even know what to do on this game. There's so many games like this with all the injuries. You really and all the rookies. You just don't know what Purdy's going to do, what Dart's going to do without Scatterboo. Atlanta, New England. New England 6-45. Is New England this good? I don't know. Is Penix playing? That's our key. If it's Cousins, I'm betting the house on New England. Patriots will look to start fast against Falcons. Will the over hit for Falcons Patriots? Patriots power ratings. Patriots up to date depth chart ahead of week 9. Falcons release new depth chart ahead of week 9 game. Let's see what that is. I mean, Atlanta's been. They lost to Carolina 30-0 in Miami, like 30-7. All right, where's the depth chart? Michael Penix and Drake, both of whom are held out in week 8. So Penix he's dated. He's considered day-to-day. So we have to see if Penix plays, you can play Atlanta. If Cousins plays, we're on New England. Now this 5.5, I'm not sure if it tells us Penix is playing or not. So we don't know if it's Penix or Cousins at this point. So I got them both penciled in. The only teaser trend is New England is 7-1 in a teaser this year. So pretty good in the teaser. They're not bad. They did beat Buffalo. Drake May does not. There's Joe Montana. No. It's Drake May. So let's see if Penix plays. San Diego goes to Tennessee. San Diego 9.5, 43.5. Down from 10. San Diego's an under team, I think, with the 22 defense. Tennessee's is a terrible team. Z team 29. Herbert against Ward. San Diego 9-2 in a teaser, or 9-2 road favorite. Play against Tennessee 7-1. Tennessee's 22-3 if you play against. But again, I can't use that because that's last year and this year. I think it's play against this 7-1 Tennessee this year. Or maybe it's 6-0. I think I don't know. I got to go back to my spreadsheet on this one. But Tennessee's just terrible. Z team 29. Cam Ward stinks. San Diego, I think gets it done. They need the game. They're a game behind Denver. And this is a game. It's like, we're playing Tennessee with Herbert, so they should be pretty good here. Carolina, Green Bay 13-44. Carolina, W team with the 24 defense, again playing weak teams. Green Bay's a B team with the 21. They got to keep winning to stay ahead of the Lions. And let's see, what do we have with what do we have? It's, Bryce Young gets optimistic update ahead of Packers matchup. So Bryce Young probably will be the quarterback. He sucks against Love. So Carolina's a W team with Steve Young and a 24 defense. I just think Micah Parsons controls the game like he did against Pittsburgh. 12.5. Detroit, 8.5, 48.5. This is J.J. McCarthy against Golf. Minnesota's another team with the 23 defense. Both their quarterbacks suck. Detroit's an A team with the 22. This is your free play. Take Detroit minus 8.5 down to 2.5. They get the safety back. I don't think they had a bye, so they didn't get re-injured. Some of their cornerbacks look good anyway last against Tampa, so I'm not really worried. Detroit at home needs the game. There's a game behind game and a half behind Green Bay, so they have to keep winning. So that'll keep the thing in. And Minnesota, just their defense isn't that good, and they can't score. McCarthy's going to get buried. The Lions, one thing they do is they pressure the quarterback pretty good. So if you got a guy like McCarthy who can't read a play anyway, who can't throw 10 yards to save his life, yeah, this is going to get ugly pretty early. That's why it's the free play. We're going to make you money. The Bears in Cincinnati, we've looked at. The Bears are 3 and 52.5. They're both over teams. However, Cincinnati's over with Flacco. Without Flacco, we're not sure. Browning was playing a little better, but right now we'll say that Browning is playing, and maybe we get Flacco. Flacco plays. It's then they are an over team. The Bears are an over team. Both defenses suck, so we'll see what happens there. But we got to wait. Again, we're waiting for another quarterback. New Orleans, LA. We've got the Rams 14-44. We got New Orleans as a Z team with the 26 defense. They're going to Tyler Shaw from Louisville, who used to play for Texas Tech. He's not bad. The Rams are an A team with the 17, are going with Stafford. Very good defense. Puka, I think, is back. Tutu Atwell's out for the year. So sad. It's a high number, 14, but you got Tyler Shaw out there. New Orleans with the 26 defense. So the Rams, they need the game. They're fighting Seattle and the Niners. And that's why we look at the standings. Are they don't need the game, or no, they need it? Like KC, Buffalo, both are in second place. Both need the game. So that's the difference. So that's LA, New Orleans. LA, look for them, pretty big. Tyler Shaw's first game. I never understood Spencer Rattler being in the league. Jacksonville and Oakland. Jacksonville 345.5. The game's in Oakland. Jacksonville's an under team with the 22. Trevor Lawrence, who stinks. Oakland, a Z team with the 26 defense. Geno Smith, who stinks. Play against the home dog. Oakland is 6-1. On the Rams are 20-5, their last 25. Play against New Orleans as a road dog, 8-1, just for that. So it's not a good place. Oakland's not a good home dog. Jacksonville, again, drafting that guy third was a huge mistake, because is he a cornerback or a receiver? Either way, you don't draft a cornerback or receiver third, even if you can play both, which I'm not saying he can. You've got the LSU guy at wide receiver. You're not throwing to Colorado when you got LSU guy. And then on defense, you got secondary help. So that doesn't matter. You just play soft zones anyway. So very stupid pick. I don't know what they were thinking. Prophet, why don't the Raiders start Pickett now? Pickett sucks. Geno is crap. Geno is bad because, by the way, Brock Bowers is out and their offensive line shot. What would you expect to happen? You expect Pickett, who's terrible, to do anything here? Pickett's just going to be worse than Geno Smith. A lot of it is a bad line, and Brock Bowers is out. So don't blame the quarterback because Brock Bowers got hurt. It's just the injury thing. It's just they're a bad team. Go get the first pick and pick Dagio Pava. And you got Brock Bowers, get another receiver, get some offensive line help. You can be a good team, but you need defense too. So you need a lot. Oakland, they're struggle, but I would get Dagio or Robertson from Baylor would be who if I'm Oakland, who I'm targeting. KC Buffalo game of the day. KC 253.5, up from 1. Both are A teams, obviously. 16 defense to 21. Mahomes against Allen. KC is 7-1 in a teaser this year, but not Buffalo. Buffalo, Kansas City has the defense here, right? They got the 16 defense. Buffalo with the 21. Buffalo will score a lot in this game. So will KC. This should be a nice duel. At 52, we need 46. So we need 24-23. I can't imagine this game is not over 24-23. Seattle and Washington. Seattle 3.5, 47. Jalen Daniels, what's he up to? All these quarterbacks, it's great. Let's keep with the running quarterbacks. That does well. Is Jalen Daniels playing this week? Updates on Commander Star. NFL Insider cast out on Jalen Daniels' availability for Week 9. So is he playing? It's a simple yes or no question, right? But they got to give us this. Oh, they're on a 3-game losing streak. After missing weeks 3 and 4, they returned. Daniels is out again Week 8. Will he be back in time for Sunday night? Well, answer the fucking question. The latest news on Daniel, it's up in the air. He was sidelined in Week 8. So I had to read 3 paragraphs to get to the point where we don't know. But we don't know. So we have no idea. So at this point, we can't say. The line, Seattle 3.5, what does that tell us? We don't know. Wait till the injury report comes out. Seattle, very good team. An A team with a 19 defense. Washington with whatchamacallit. I want to say Moriarty, but that's Sherlock Holmes. Who's the fucking quarterback? Mariota, Moriarty, same thing. So I don't know. We're not counting on Daniels at this point, but their defense is a 25. Seattle, it's coast to coast, but it's Sunday night, so they get time to recover. Seattle with the 19 defense, so that's good. So it's all up to Daniels. Daniels probably an over. They're a live dog. They're very good with Daniels. They're like 23-3 with Daniels. I don't know what thing I have here. I got 12-1 as on the road. Seattle, I keep looking at it as a road dog. It just means on the road. Seattle's 12-1 on the road. That's what I'm saying. So they're a very good road team, Seattle. So if we don't think Penix is playing, if we don't think Daniels is playing, we need to bet Seattle now. Although I don't know where the line's going to go with Mariota. And our last game, Arizona and Dallas. Dallas 2.5, 54. Play against Dallas is 7-0 this year. No, I think that's play against Arizona. Yeah, Dallas is 6-1. Play against Arizona 7-0. Dallas at home tied Green Bay, played very good. On the road, they're not as good. Coming off of the loss to Denver, Look for them to play well. Arizona doesn't show me anything. And again, is it Kyler Murray or is it going to be Brissett? Brissett's actually better. I feel better with Brissett. I played him against Green Bay, and Brissett was fine. Much better than Aaron Rodgers, who wasn't mobile enough against Micah Parsons. So with Brissett, probably an over. Dallas, normally an over. We got to see the quarterback. 31 defense for Dallas. That's what's killing them. And 22. You can always tell the team by their defense. Even Baltimore. If we run and play Baltimore because of Lamar, we got a 30 defense to fuck around with. Not that Tag's any good, but still, Miami with the 27 defense. This almost goes to an over game. Baltimore, Miami. Both defenses suck. Lamar's back. They're going to score. But you can't really trust Tagliavua to do anything. But again, you got to be careful. You bet Baltimore, you bet the 30 defense. With the 30 defense, you don't know. Over might be more prudent with Lamar. They're going to score a lot. Probably, a 50 goes to 44, 24-20. I guarantee Baltimore gets 30 on this team. Question is, how much does Miami get? So that's pro football. Free pick is Detroit, laying 2.5. Bet it early and bet it often. Who I play with, I have no idea at this point, but it is posted. Very hard to figure out plays this week. Injuries, right? Until we know if Daniels is playing, is Penix playing, what's going on. It makes it a little difficult to figure out the teaser teams that you should play. Tampa Bay, but I think they're off this week, which really sucks. The Rams, they're playing New Orleans. Arizona plays Dallas. New England, they get Atlanta, maybe Penix. Indy, they play at Pitt. Houston, they play Denver and Denver. Both are very strong in teasers, as I noticed. Kansas City is, Buffalo is not yet. And then Seattle is. They're at Washington waiting on Daniels. Play against the JETSs got me last week as I played Cincinnati, but just keep playing against the Jets, who are off this week, I believe. Yeah, I lost Tampa and I lost the JETSs. Miami play against Pitt, play against Tennessee. They're terrible. They got San Diego, I believe. Yeah. Cincinnati's terrible. Arizona, both ways. So they play a lot of close games. Philadelphia, they're off this week, I believe. Carolina, they've got Green Bay. New Orleans, who's terrible, and Minnesota, who's terrible, playing the Lions. So it's the interesting correlation. If the team's the Z team, you bet against them, you win almost 95% of the time. And hence, if it's a good team like Tampa, the Rams, Detroit, Green Bay, Philadelphia, Kansas City, you're going to win with them. So it's really just, they're a good team, I'll bet them. If they're a bad team, I bet against them, which we do anyway. But it really shows, like, we're looking for, let's bet against Tennessee, or in college, let's bet against the Z teams. I'm not tracking it. There's too many teams to track their teaser trends. And I used to, and there was a lot of good play. TCU, Utah always were very strong in a teaser trend. But I haven't done that. It's just too much right now to go through because I got to get ready for next week and go to the games next week. So we got to track injuries, Penix, Daniels, the superstar injuries, J.J. McCarthy playing. Good luck. Browning or Flacco for Cincinnati. Tyler Shaw making a new start from Louisville, from Texas Tech. for New Orleans. Good luck there against the Rams. Go Rams. You're starting to get these 14-point favorites. Green Bay and the Rams are big 13, 14-point favorites. So we'll have to see. Their Z teams playing this week. Well, Miami's a W. Tennessee, the Z team. Carolina's the W. New Orleans, the Z team. Oakland, the Z team. That's it. The A teams are Indy, Denver, and Houston. I have as B teams, but they're probably A. New England, I'm at a B with. Green Bay's still a B. Detroit's an A. The Rams are an A. KC and Buffalo are A's, and Seattle's an A. So you keep it open. That's why we win. We don't just, I'm a San Diego fan and I'm going to bet San Diego if they're good or bad. No. If they move to a Z team or a W team, I'm off of them and I'm looking for the A teams and I'm looking and then correlating. The teaser trends will correlate with the A team. The A team covers every week and the Z team doesn't. So that's why we are so successful, is we being me, is the professor and the teaser king. I'm like Batman and Bruce Wayne, right? So you follow who's winning and you bet on who's winning. It's just like roulette. Black or red. Oh, black's hitting. I'm playing black. And red starts hitting. I'm playing red. Or back rack. I'm going to bet the bank. Or, the player starts winning. I'm betting the player. You just go with it. You don't fight it. One person asked me, well, if black hit 5 times in a row, isn't red due? And I said, no, reds never do. Reds do when red starts hitting. Then red hits. It is never due. Black is never due. Heads and tails on a quarter. If it's heads 5 in a row, tails is never due. It's heads that's due. Heads keeps hitting, you just keep betting it. You don't fuck with the streak. You let it go. All right. That's how you gamble. You gamble on the streak. If you play poker and some guy's hot, you just like Aussie, when he won in 2000, he wasn't any good. He just got cards. I mean, it's easy. Oh, I flopped a full house. I guess I'm a great poker player. I mean, that's what he was doing. So you just avoid him. You stay away from him because he's hot until he isn't. I ran into that once at MGM. This guy's hot and I'm playing and I'm this guy's hot and I got a hand and I played it and he beat me. He pulled out on me. So you try to avoid the streak. You try to go with the streak. You don't bet against the streak. You bet on it. And that's what we're doing in football. The teams that's hot, you just play them. But yeah, Prophet, you Oakland guys, I wouldn't worry about Oakland this year. Go back to 1976 and watch that, or Marcus Allen or something. But I wouldn't waste my time too much with this year. I mean, this is a joke. This is my point, right? You guys are betting on Oakland. You have no business betting on Oakland. Oakland is play against home dogs 6-1. They're not great in a teaser. Stop fucking around with Oakland. Go bet on New England or go bet on Indy. Don't bet on. Don't follow crap and bet on them. You can root for them, but I wouldn't bet on them. But I know you're betting on them because of that. So you got to be careful. That's why you switch. Indiana's the flavor of the month in college and pro this year. Just stop fucking around. Just bet on Indiana. I mean, they're the ones who are covering. Indy is 8-0 in a teaser this year. Stop fucking around. What are you looking at Oakland for? Just go to Indy. I mean, it's very simple. That's what you do. Now, we do have to keep our eye on the injuries, mostly the quarterback. And look what happens when Penix didn't play. Atlanta got killed by Miami. And looked at Daniels. He didn't play, and they killed Mariota. So be very careful of the injuries. So we'll keep reporting it. And we'll have our class on Sunday. But like as far as I see, Lamar's playing, so you either can bet Baltimore because he's back, or you bet the over in the game. But that's just logic. That's okay. I got that. Now we know he's not a good quarterback, good running back, probably a good receiver, not a good quarterback. Prophet, I never bet on Oakland, but I do cheer for them. Okay. I bet on them when it's appropriate, but very rarely because they're such a bad team. I do like Coach Pete. I'm not a big Chip Kelly fan, or Chip Kelly. I didn't like him at Oregon, and I didn't like him at I did like him at UCLA. I didn't like that he left for Ohio State, and now he's at Oakland with Tom Brady. I don't know. If he can't get the offense going, nobody can. He's a great offensive coordinator. Although they couldn't beat Michigan. Is that real, or is that fixed that they can't beat Michigan, but they win the national championship? And they shouldn't even have been in the playoff with 2 losses, losing to Michigan. A very bad team last year. All right. There's a alligator one I want to show you. Well, let's check our gold. Let's see. It's 12:30. It should be up. It's back to 4,000 and silver 48.28. So it fell down to 39.90 back. I call this 4,000, 39.99. Still low. It should be. We did get up to 40.30, then 10 o'clock. So this is the 10 o'clock drop, which is just bullshit. Again, we realize this is options. We realize this is paper money. So we don't worry. We have physical gold, which we know is worth 10 times this. So it's worth 40,000. That's just what you just have to know to understand that. Physical gold is much more limited than paper. This is being constructed to drop the price because these are idiots who think it's priced too high. I would not call this a crash at all. It's down $300. It was 4,300. It should be 5,000 by now, but it's 4,300 down to 4,000. So it's not a crash. I don't know what you would consider a crash, but it's impossible because you're not selling gold to get back into dollars. So what the fuck? All right, let's go to, there's a Mark McGuire one or an alligator one. Oh, there's one I want to show you on the NBA, but we'll start with finance.
And there is a disconnect between what top strategists, if I can call them that, are saying about prospects for gold and the position of their underlying managed accounts. Because remember, these big American banks, each of them handled something like $1 trillion worth of high net worth individual portfolios. And basically, they don't have any gold in them at all. And I think this is going to bring pressure onto the investment management department, if you like, from customers who are saying, your bank is saying we should have 20% in gold, and I've got nothing. What gives?
Yes.
You could see the client meetings and how this is going to become an extremely important topic for them.
If you're looking to upgrade your heating system this fall or...
Shut the fuck up.
We haven't seen the beginning of the real bull market in gold yet. That's still to come. That will be obviously a collapse of the monetary system. As we know, most currencies, dollar, euro, yen, etc., they're all down 99% since 1971, even since 1980. Now we have final 1%, but as I always stress, that 1% fall of the currencies is 100% from here. And this is what we're going to experience. We have all the elements. We have the debt, which is growing exponentially. We have the deficits, which are also growing exponentially. We have money printing in most countries. Also, we have extremely poor political leadership in Europe and in the US and around the Western world. And that goes hand in hand with the end of an era. You get weak leadership. You need a really poor leader to take you down the last bit. And that's what we have.
It's called Trump. All right, so this is the NBA is crooked.
We are back on Get Up Live in New York with major breaking news, as we've touched on early this morning, from the NBA involving not one but two arrests.
Rozier's been arrested for his involvement in alleged sports gambling, prop bets.
No, I don't want a plea bargain. I didn't do it.
Mr. Garvin, I just don't know what other options we have, because they have this clear videotape.
This is funny.
Rozier. Washington over the Plumlee. Cutting. Nice cut. And Rozier blows. Long rebound garnered by Rozier. On the hop to the glass. That's a lot of buckets.
Speaking of chicken, James is making buckets. Meanwhile,
That is not me.
When it comes to the integrity of sports, the integrity of the NBA, we all like to believe these athletes are operating in good faith, giving their best, trying their hardest, and competing on the floor to win that game, and of course, win a championship. In a perfect world, I'd say everyone would operate. But of course, this world is far from perfect. And looking at basketball specifically, there's been gambling scandals in various eras. Of course, 1980s, the New York Knicks, they were involved with drugs, gambling, using games on purpose, and really in bed with the mafia. Fast forward to the 2000s, Tim Donaghy, that notorious scandal nearly broke the NBA, where he was betting on games, rigging games, calling certain things to get a certain outcome. When it comes to basketball and betting scandals, there's been quite a few at the pro level, as well as the college level. But looking at those scandals, what's the big time difference? Back in the 80s, 2000s, gambling, it was under the table and frowned upon by these leagues. Now in the 21st century, there's absolutely no shame, and they're in bed with these companies more than you could imagine. And in every waking moment, they promote gambling like there's no tomorrow.
ESPN Bet has seen Green, Stevens A-list.
Combined bets on points, rebounds, assists, and more.
12 seconds later.
Terry Rozier, distant from a foot away.
Now Eric Gordon 0-4. Charlotte's only 5-24.
Yeah. I think I want my money back.
Michigan homeowners, if your house was built before 2019, I want to buy your house.
Yeah. I think I want my money back.
When it comes to the average NBA game nowadays, there's betting advice during the game, before the game, and even afterwards. And looking at the court, things like DraftKings, FanDuel are advertised on the actual floor. At this point, sports and gambling, they're connected at the hip, and they're one and the same. Do I like that personally? Not really. What I care about is the sport, the game, not the parlays, money lines, the player props. With that being said, it's legal and above board. My biggest problem with sports gambling is you have guys like Terry Rozier, Jonte Porter betting on themselves to lose and taking games on purpose. At that point, your sport integrity of the game is severely in question. And looking at every major sports league, they've had at least one scandal already. NFL, Calvin Ridley. Baseball, that Indians pitcher. Then, of course, basketball, Jonte Porter and Terry Rozier taking games on purpose, missing shots on purpose.
Clyde, I was depressed when you got traded. Porter misses badly. Odom, a Rhode Island Ram. Here's Jonte Porter with a three. Could be a lot more aggressive. I love points. Shot clock down. Porter's going to have to create. Tough. Tell him to bring me my money.
When you're a high-level competitor like an NBA player, and you're actively tanking your team, tanking your stats, that's downright despicable. And looking at Terry Rozier, he went one step further. Not just bricking shots, playing bad on purpose, but actively tanking games, leaving early with fake injuries.
Oh, well, it's broken.
So that right there from Terry Rozier, leading games early, faking injuries, that on its own is pretty despicable. But think about this. How many superstar players, role players, have left games mysteriously in games you've watched? When I watch the NBA, it happens routinely. And even more often is load management. How many superstar players, 45, 30 minutes prior to a game, they're a late scratch, they're out tonight with like calf soreness, some conditioning concern, some BS injury we all know is fake. In the load management era, that happens routinely. Are all those guys tanking for gamblers? Obviously not. When so many guys already got asked the question, how many of them are doing that and haven't been caught yet? As again, looking at Terry Rozier, the only reason this guy was caught is because he was stupid and he put $200K on his under in a game he left early. If you put $200K on a Terry Rozier game versus the Pelicans and he plays the entire game, that's still suspicious. If you put $200K on that game and he leaves early, that's red flags like you couldn't imagine.
Are you going to take injuries? You got it. Oh my God! Oh, I can't go on.
And here's the big time problem for Adam Silver. It's not Terry Rozier getting busted, Chauncey Billups getting busted. It's not any of that. It's that dark cloud around the NBA of what's real, what's not. If people don't trust your sport, think it's legit, you're basically WWE, entertainment, scripted entertainment. What we thought basketball was legit competition, everyone trying their hardest. In 2025, that's far from the case. And looking at someone like Rozier, he's the tip of the iceberg. For these NBA players, the best and the worst, they have bad games and they have really bad games. When someone has a bad game, you know it's human nature, it happens. But now when it happens, you're going to wonder, how legit was that bad game? And was it a bad game on purpose? A guy gets banged up mid-game, twists an ankle, hurts a shoulder, and he leaves the game the entire game. You're going to wonder in the back of your head, how legit is that injury, and could he have played through it? That right there is Adam Silver's biggest problem, the shroud of mystery concern hanging over the NBA of what's legit and what's not. Now, one more thing I do want to talk about, when it comes to the integrity of the game, trying to win and compete. We know teams for a long time, they've tanked games lost on purpose to get better draft picks. In basketball, football, baseball, that simply always happened. It's a part of the game. But after this Terry Rozier scandal dropped, what I immediately thought of were the Toronto Raptors. I was looking at the Raptors, their tank job last year went beyond the pale and went under the radar of one of the worst tank jobs of all time. As of course, looking at certain games, their star players like R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes, even Manuel Quickly either wouldn't play or they get benched in the fourth quarter in a very close and winnable game. For example, look at April 3rd versus the Blazers. Barnes and R.J. Barrett in the fourth quarter only played 5 minutes, and they barely lost. R.J. and Scotty, their two best players. Look at March 8th versus the Wizards. R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and Jakob Poeltl in the fourth quarter all played under 5 minutes. That game versus the Wizards, they, of course, lost. Now, right there, best case scenario, the Raptors, a tanking loophole, losing games on purpose, not playing their best players. Worst case scenario, they're pulling a Terry Rozier at a much larger scale. And look, that accusation, the entire Raptors coaching staff, they're tanking games, throwing games for gambling purposes, that's a big-time accusation. And even if it's not true, look at the facts. The Raptors in the fourth quarter numerous times were pulling healthy starters, tanking on purpose. Was it for gambling? Was it not for gambling? It's besides the point. When you see that happening, the integrity of basketball, it's put into question. If you have a gambling scandal, that integrity is really put into question. That right there is what I'm talking about. The cloud of mystery concern of what's real, what's not. At this point, who knows? But what I do know, people like Terry Rozier, Jonte Porter, are the tip of the spear. I guarantee you other NBA players, they stealthily tanked, had a bad game, left a game early to win some money on the side. So that right there is the end of the video, and I'll say one last thing. When it comes to this entire gambling scandal, people like Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, they're secondary to the biggest problem. The biggest problem with the NBA right now is the fans to trust their product, trust their game. If the players are blatantly tanking, why should you trust the product? If coaches are throwing games, why should you trust the product? And at this point, you can virtually book it in the next 3 years, 5 years, heck, the next decade.
I think we got the idea. Too much fix for whatever reason. Let's see. Let's look at some Egon.
Silver has always been called poor man's gold because basically it's today 1/80th of the price of gold. That means that the gold price is 80 times the silver price. I don't think silver will be called poor man's gold for very long because silver is now in the position where it's likely to catapult to much, much higher levels. It's being held at the $50 level. If we look at this graph, it was $50 in 1980 when gold was $850. It was $50 in 2011 when gold was $1,920. And it's just under $50 today when gold is over $4,000. So clearly, silver has been suppressed for the simple reason that there isn't enough stock of silver around. There is a shortage of silver every year, and that shortage is covered by short-term borrowing of silver, which means that it's silver that has been rehypothecated once or several times, and not really existing silver stocks, which are free and clear. So we're going to see now, I think, and there probably it could be in the next few days, silver not being held below this line. And it is the $50 line is not a resistance line, it's a catapult line. And I think once we go across that line properly, we have already been past it by a couple of dollars. Once we go across it properly, silver is going to shoot up to $60, $70, $80 in a very short period of time. And the long-term move of silver will mean that I have said already 25 years ago that gold is likely to reach 10,000 in today's terms. And if silver reaches the historical relationship to gold, that would mean $666 silver. That's not a forecast, but that's an unlikely level that silver will go to. By that time, it's not going to be poor man's gold anymore. It's going to be the rich man's silver. These shortages are there on a daily basis. We buy silver for our clients every day, and there's more buying than ever. And it's extremely difficult to get hold of physical silver. Remember, of course, physical is the only way that you should hold the metals. Physical silver, physical gold outside the banking system in your own name, because that's the way to preserve wealth in a proper way. Now, what does that mean with silver tens of dollars higher in a very short period of time and hundreds of dollars higher within the next few years? Because of gold will not move as fast, but gold will move up also. It clearly means that the fiat currencies are on their final leg down to zero. They're 99% down since 1971, and they're now going to move down all the way to zero. That means that the Western financial system is now on the verge of crashing. We have problems in the banking system already, especially in the US. We have problems in Europe. We have geopolitical problems of a magnitude that the world hasn't seen before. Trump is trying to maintain the US hegemony by threatening China, by threatening India, but they're not responding. China says it doesn't give a damn about the tariffs that Trump is imposing on higher and higher levels. And as a matter of fact, anyway, China's export to the US is now only 10%. So the US is not that important market anymore. So China is not going to give in to the pressures or the blackmail of Trump. Nor is India. Trump has also threatened India with sanctions because they buy Russian oil. But India is not giving in to these pressures. As a matter of fact, Modi refused to take a call from Trump recently, thus totally ignoring him. At the same time, he went discussions with Xi in China and with Putin. So the power is totally shifting from west to east, as we have been talking about in the last few years. And that is now accelerating, and that will accelerate further with the collapse of the fiat currencies in the west especially, and the power, not just political power, but the power of money will move also to the east. And of course, eastern countries are buying more gold than ever. China, India, Russia and many other eastern countries are accumulating gold to an extent that we've never seen before. And their official reserves are likely to be much higher than they are actually advertising. And their official reserves are much higher than they are declaring. So we're getting to the end of a monetary era, an era which started in 1913 with the creation of the Fed, and the decline accelerated in 1971 when Nixon closed the gold window. And now we are at the final leg down, which is going to be an absolute disaster for the West and for financial assets and for investment assets. As I've declared already previously, I am very certain that stock markets will lose at least 90% of their value in real terms, which is measured against gold. So holders of stocks, holders of bonds, holders of financial assets are going to have distraction of their wealth that has never been seen before in history. This is why it's absolutely essential from paper assets, from stock markets, from bond markets, even from property markets into physical gold and silver. That's what's going to save you when the collapse starts in earnest with falls that nobody expects. So get prepared, buy physical assets, gold and silver, and cut down on your other assets like stocks and bonds. It's still time to preserve your wealth and to save you from seeing total decline in your wealth by having paper assets going down by, as I said, at least 90% against real money. And real money is going to be gold and silver and other real assets. So take the steps that you need to do. Buy gold, buy silver, reduce your other financial assets, and you will sleep much better. Thank you.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. You've got to just understand what the dollar is, and that if you keep printing it, it's worthless. That's why it's fiat. It's not backed by anything. The government has to print to cover all their expenses, the debt, the interest on the debt, all the government employees, everything else, Social Security, Medicare, and the defense spending. All has to be paid for. They don't have the money, so they print it. But they don't understand. They think because it's the reserve currency, they can just keep printing it. They can't. If you keep printing it, it becomes worthless. Well, it's lost 99%. I say 100. It's worth nothing.
These boots are made from a single.
That's it. I mean, you're toast. So, but that's what we understand. So we know it's a no-brainer for us. We know gold and silver have to go up. We know we have to buy physical. That's why I tell you to buy the coins or the bars. You have no option, and you have no competition. There's a monopoly. Gold and silver are the only two things you can get into, not Bitcoin and not stable coin and all that crap. You avoid that because it's not real. That's the Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi scheme is that they're not real. Bitcoin and stablecoin aren't real. Anything digital is not real. Avoid these digital IDs and all this digital crap to stay away from. But what you understand is gold and silver are real. You can hold them. You can see what they look like. Put them in a safe and lock it up and put it in a safe place. And you're fine with it. And you know they're going to go up in value because the value is based on the dollar dropping, which will put more demand into gold and silver. And it's monopoly. There's nowhere else to go with it. Okay, you can buy a mantle card, but at the end of the day, you still have to sell the mantle card to get money, where gold and silver are money, and there's no competition for them. So that's why I say you buy the Rolex or the mantle card as secondary real assets. You want to buy real assets. And inflation is not measured at all in 3%. That's just fantasy. Inflation goes back to 71, and it's thousands and 50, 60,000%. And it is not prices. It's the dollar has lost its value. And that's what inflation is, not 3%. So if you hear that, just laugh and go, yeah, they're out of their fucking minds, which they are. So the government can't be trusted, as we know. It's all on the take of defense contractors paying off the lobbyists. 9/11 was Israeli was behind it to steal the gold. In one of the buildings on the floor was all the gold, as we saw in Die Hard 3. That's what they stole. That's why they can afford to buy all the senators and congressmen are all in the Israeli pockets. It's just pathetic. How can we not have our own government, and our own government's corrupt as shit? So we got a lot of problems here, but gold solves all the problems. Gold keeps you by yourself, kind of secret. Nobody knows you have it, and that's the beauty of it. So don't just tell your closest friends. You'll probably help your girlfriend or your wife. Well, you would have the gold for her anyway, but your kids maybe. Oh, here's an ounce of gold. Now Jimmy can eat, stuff like that. But that's where we're at. So football, free pick, Detroit over Minnesota. Lay the 2.5. Lamar is playing tomorrow night. Either take Baltimore or take the over. Not sure. I don't know if we can trust Miami. Your free pick in college, go over with the Baylor UCF game. Baylor, it's 59, so it's 53. Just go over there. Baylor with a great quarterback, great offense, and no defense. And UCF plays well enough. They should be able to get into the points there. I don't know. I'm not here. I'm teaching. So that's it. So we basically know what's happening. We know what's going on in the world. We know this whole Russia-Ukraine wars, the U.S. versus Russia. What we're doing fighting Russia, I have no idea. We cannot possibly win the war. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. We have no military. We have no weapons. We've given them all to the Ukraine, and they've sold them all to the Mexicans. We're in war, to get out of this recession because we're 37 trillion in debt, and we think the answer is a war? Who's the idiot who came up with that one? Unbelievable. Anyway, that's what's going on. So try to have a good day. Try to relax. Enjoy World Series tonight. I look for Toronto to win. Toronto's offense will win. I don't like the Dodgers pitcher, and I don't love Toronto's pitcher either. These are the game ones, but I just think Toronto will just hit. The Dodgers bullpen is terrible. They always have these pitchers with these strange windups. I'm waiting for Koufax to come out of the crowd and pitch. Then I'd be worried. Their bullpen just sucks. They got screwed in game 3. They should have won it when the umpire who's in on the take on a pitch 2 feet over the strike zone calls it a strike, but kind of makes it look like take your base. So it confuses everybody thinking that it's a walk because there was a 3-1 count. So Toronto should have won that game. It should never have gone 18 innings. And then yesterday they beat Shotani. And again, Shotani, if I'm the manager, doesn't see a strike. Why? I'll just walk him fine. There's nobody behind him. Mookie Betts sucks. Freddie Freeman's okay. And then that's it. And the rest of the team can't hit shit. So I got to understand that. Do not take Max Scherzer out. If you pitch him again, he does not come out. He pitches 7-8 innings. Don't give me he's done. Bullshit. He doesn't. You say, Max, I need you for 7 innings. He's pitching you 7 innings. So that's the World Series. Look for Toronto tonight. It's tied at 2. Toronto should win the series. I thought it would be a sweep. It should have been. I don't know the Dodgers pitcher, Mr. Fuji, in game 2. If I never heard of him before. I think when we used to give the picks out for baseball, I remember his name. I never was impressed with him, so I don't know. Well, he's got 5 pitches. So do I, but I can't throw. I can throw them, but they're not very good. Anyway, that's it. So football, we've talked. Gold buy, silver buy. Gold's 4,000 right now. Just relax. It's paper. The real physical price is much higher. As Egon said, you can't find silver. You can't find gold. It's all gone. So therefore, how can the price be going down? The paper price is going down, not the physical. So understand that. Anyway, that's it. Have a good day and good luck. Today's Wednesday. So we got the 2 crap college games. Maybe you bet Jacksonville State because of the Z team, Middle Tennessee State. I'm not sure. Tomorrow, a couple games. Friday, a couple. I mean, it's such bullshit with these Conference USA, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What is this shit? It's a bunch of crap. It's to get you to lose money betting because you'll bet on these teams that you have no idea how to predict the outcome of these games. Short of, okay, Middle Tennessee's a Z team, we'll bet against them because they're a Z. We couldn't name one player. I couldn't tell you there's an injury, but that's about it. So that's why you got to be careful with those. Just stick with the big boys that we watch, the Big 12, the SEC, the ACC, the Big 10, the Mountain West. We know those players. We know what's going on there. So just stick with whom brung you. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you very much. www.teaserking.com. All right. Take care.